Anywho, we're back.
We are.
I feel like we need to introduce 2 special guests this week.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you actually, because like one is like almost there, but he actually is.
Have you pinched him to make sure the mirage
you can
is
feel
real?
my arm. Look, I'm real. See,
He's all right.
real.
He's made it.
Should we pinch him or punch him? I don't know. Which
Both.
I'm fragile.
He's missed a few first of the month, so he's due a few pinches and bunches.
This is your second episode this year.
Always call him out. Call him out early.
Well, it's just dawned on me just as we were talking about
See,
it.
now, I told Jen that Will was coming in today and should be nice.
Did she fall out?
Don't beat him up.
I like Jen. She's always got my back.
You've just laid into it.
It's all right.
It was nice knowing you, Vish.
Jen likes me, so it's all good. It's all good. Episode
85.
85.
Apparently, allegedly.
Allegedly.
It's been good so far.
Yeah, we've done all right.
Last week's was brilliant.
Yes.
Off the back of that, did you see the comments?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
And the emails.
And the emails. So we did an episode, we're talking therapies, which actually went down quite well. I spoke to somebody from the NHS just today, actually, and they said they listened and they said it came across really well. And they were thankful there was no F-bombs.
Yeah, it was John Slinger again, wasn't it?
Mate, it was so hard. Trying not to swear is one of the hardest things in the world. I didn't realise until last week how difficult it really was. John Singer wasn't so bad, but last week I kind of dropped the clanger twice.
I noticed when I was doing the editing, but
Yeah.
you couldn't really.
But yeah,
Yeah,
it's not really a swear word.
I got all mine out on email to Taylor before we
Yeah, you did, didn't you?
Know the words.
Fuck's sake, fuck.
Anyway, we've got a guy in today, haven't we?
We have.
Someone else.
We do.
Another one of your finds.
Actually, this guy I found like many, many years ago.
I'm sorry, Harry.
Welcome,
Farming
Harry.
the tip.
If he hasn't been able to get rid of you, we don't know what the secret is.
Well, this guy, we actually met. Hi, Harry.
Hello.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks very much for having me.
Harry made a nice trip from Manchester today, didn't you?
Yeah, I brought the weather. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
well
did?
done.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Like, really
They do
appreciate
say
it.
it's groom up
It's the
north.
least, it's the least I could do. Yeah.
Brought the grimness with him. But it's all good. So me and Harry have known each other, we're going
15 years.
about 15 years,
Wow.
15 or so years. And we actually met at one of our mutual friends' party. And we've been good friends since, actually. We almost didn't become friends because I cursed him and someone else.
Yeah, you gave me shit right from the out.
Yeah, right from the outset,
yeah.
because I was like, we were talking about jobs. And and I was saying that I don't like people in procurement because they piss me off. And he goes, oh, by the way, I'm in procurement. I'm like,
Wow.
yeah, and we just met.
What exactly did you say, Vish?
Yeah, I'm not going to say that on air, but yeah, it's like people from procurement are.
Yeah, we know where that's gone.
Yeah, see you next Thursday. And and him and there's another guy, Party, who will be here soon. Both of them turn around and say, "You need to watch what you say, or think about what you say. Think about what you're going to say before
Know
you speak."
your audience before you own it.
We've learnt this now.
Yes.
We've learnt this now. But Harry actually messaged me a couple of weeks ago saying that he would love to come in and have a chat.
Yeah.
So what is it you want to talk about, dude?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, gents.
Throw him in the deep end.
Yeah.
Over to you. Go on.
No, look, I was warned. I was pre-warned.
I did say, yeah.
It's all right. No, thanks for having me. I'm a big fan. I really am.
2 in 2 weeks.
2 in 2
Well,
weeks.
well done. You guys are doing a great job, and it's really great to see you growing from strength to strength. So the reason I wanted to come in was I turned 40 last year, right? And for me, reaching that milestone has probably been the most drastic of any milestone in terms of the realization of how heavy life is, right? And over the year and a bit that I have been on the 4th step, I've just found myself just constantly in the wind tunnel, right? And you hear all of these things as you grow up and you watch male figures in your life, whether it's your father or if people without father figures in their lives, uncles, brothers, whatever. But the generation, at least that we grew up, was very much, dust your shoulders off, just keep going,
keep
right?
going.
You got to put on your armor every morning and go out and face the big bad world. And as my children grow older, I've got a boy and a girl, 13 and 11. The kind of pressure of getting them ready for the world that I know is unforgiving and unrelenting, it started to take its toll, right? And for the longest time, I'm very blessed with a very close group of friends, of which you are one, Vish.
Thank you, dude.
But whilst we can sit around a table and chat shit and have jokes, it's very, very difficult to get to the crux of what's going on. And more often than not, but me personally, I found myself missing clear signs in recent months and years. You know, we're at that age now. 2 of our close friends have lost parents in the last 12 to 15 months. Yeah. And whilst we're always there with a message and a check-in every so often, sometimes you stop and think, you're like, well, everyone's carrying a load. I don't want to burden them with my load. I'll just try and find my coping mechanisms, which are different on a daily basis. And I just find it a fascinating topic because more recently I have found myself trying to find those avenues and those vents. So I've started a body transformation program more recently, and I'm meeting folks through that, and just meeting new people. And I think it was one of the snippets of a pod that you guys did a while ago, and you spoke about the power of strangers and your ability to open up to strangers, because there's not that feeling of self-preservation, and you shed your vulnerability a lot quicker. And especially when you were in hospital and you were going through your challenges. So I just wanted to unpack that a little bit, right? Because what I found is, before I kind of open it up to perspective, what I found is when you're struggling, what you yearn for the most, I feel, is perspective. Yeah. And perspective leans itself to objectivity. But when you're struggling, the last thing that you are is often objective or logical. Yeah. Right? And that's something that I find fascinating. And that's something that I think men should be better at. And don't get me wrong, there are some men that are very, very good at being able to share their feelings. But I just don't know any of those men. Right? Quite frankly, I just don't. And I've been trying to figure out, as I was driving down in the pissing rain, I was thinking, right, okay, how am I going to set the scene, and how am I going to at least try and contribute to the unpacking of this topic? And what I found is, whether you're in a relationship or not, like, I've got a lovely wife, a wonderful life partner that you know well, and she's just my backbone. But can I speak to her about everything? Yes, but can I rely on her being able to understand it and receive the message in the way I'm delivering it and intending what I want? No. And I've spoken to friends about it, and they're like, well, there's some things that you just can't speak to your wife about because she ain't going to get it, right? Yeah. She's not going to be able to give you a perspective that you're going to be able to understand, digest, and then be able to apply to try and make yourself feel better, or try and find a new coping mechanism dependent on the challenge of the day. So hopefully that set the scene a little bit for you, because I'm just interested to see what you guys think, and take from there.
The tables have turned.
He's flipped it on us. He has flipped it on us.
I like that. So, I was actually engrossed, and I was thinking, oh, this is great. Yeah, we don't have to talk at all.
Shit, he stopped talking.
He fucking did that.
Yeah, I ain't letting you off that.
He fucking did that. I've got a couple of questions, actually. Some that we both can relate on. And you mentioned about the hitting 40. Now, that's, for a lot of people, that's a huge milestone. You get some people it's 30, some people it's 21. It's different for every single person. But I guess it's your own expectations and what you want to be, or where you want to be in life at that point. You could have everything. I'm just talking material stuff here. But that's not what you really want, right? You want happiness in everything. You want a very good balance. One thing that I see, I don't have this issue, is cultural expectation. It's something we've touched on before. And in our culture, it's pretty much known you've got to have certain things in place by certain ages. Not so much now, but is that something that you're experiencing? Is that something you're going through?
Yeah. I think the way you just articulated it then for me would be more societal expectation. Okay, great. Right, being of the South Asian society. The cultural expectation from the perspective of family, it's not been at all from my parents, like, we expect you to be in this profession, we expect you to be settled down by this point in time. You know my background, right? I got married relatively early, 27. I had an arranged marriage, which was, back then, like, for my friends group, it was something that was a little, it was different. And I did it because I believed in it. I saw my brother go through that process, and regardless of the route, the fundamentals of marriage are all the same, right? It's hard. It's no joke.
Of course, yeah.
But one of the biggest challenges around society, family, and the cultural dynamic I found is balancing my responsibilities to the family that I came from versus balancing my responsibilities to the family that came from me.
Okay.
And as the children get older, as my time is just limited because there's just, parents amongst us will know that your diary is not your own when you've got children.
Yeah.
And then I've got parents that are getting older. The year didn't start off great. Mum had a health challenge.
Yeah.
That was real, that really shook Dad to the core. It made me realize how, my dad's my hero, always has been. And, as your dad is for you, but they're getting old, man.
Yeah.
And they're not, you can see that they're getting fragile and weaker and slower. And the roles reverse.
Yeah.
Right? The roles reverse. And, you find yourself parenting them. And that's the challenge that I feel like I'm running into more and more often. Like, there's times in the week where mum and dad will call and I just can't take their call because I'm on a call or I'm logged on. I work in a global role, right? Yeah. So a lot of my focus is US focused. So my days are all messed up. So I'm working late into the evening, and sometimes by the time I log off, it's too late and they're asleep. So I'm like, I'm not going to call them. And before you know it, I've not spoken to them for 3, 4, 5 days. But, mum will keep checking in. She wants to. And I don't fault her for that, but just dependent on the day that she catches me on, sometimes I can snap and I can be a bit arsey. And I really give myself a hard time about that, right? I get really pissed off and I'm like, why are you being a dick for, Harry, right? That is what I'm, that for me is a very present challenge that I'm trying to navigate my way through.
So that's something I hear of quite a lot. I mean, is this something you guys have ever come across?
We spoke about it just a couple of weeks ago, didn't we? And it's weird because you just take that for granted. Mum and dad, they're looking after you. They're protectors for such a long time. And like we spoke about, we took my mum on holiday, and at some point, the wife and I sat down and went, she's getting old. And it's just that shit, I haven't realised it before. And then all of a sudden, like you say, your roles reverse and suddenly you become the carer. But I'm the same as you. My mum will message every day without fail. WhatsApp chat group. I hope you're all okay. Everything fine here. Yeah. And sometimes life just gets in the way, and it's just a simple text message. And I do the same as you. I'm like, shit, I should have messaged back today. But you just balancing, spinning so many plates. It's hard.
It is tough. Life's hard. I remember when I was growing up, my dad always used to say, right, 2 things he always said. He said, son, a good life is a hard life, right? And I never used to understand it, right? Because, for the longest time, you go through your 20s, you want ease, right? You want everything, you want everything now. But as you go, and, we touched upon it in terms of the milestones. 21st was all around just the exuberance of youth, right? Yeah. Getting pissed up, chasing girls, all of that. And then you start work, and then you realize you've got some responsibilities, and you start upon your life's work, which is, your professional life, your career build. And then your life partner comes in, you have children. By the time I was 30, I had both my children. Shiv and Kyle were born by the time I was 30. But even then, there was still an element of, we're still climbing, we're growing, we need to get a house, so tick those things off. I don't lie to you, gents. I get to 40 and I'm thinking, I just want some peace, man.
Yeah.
I just want peace. A good life is not necessarily a hard life. I get that life's hard, but a good life for me is a peaceful life, to interact and move with the people that you want to interact with, right? You get to a stage in your life and, I envy the folks that reach this realization sooner. But if you can count your ride or dies on one hand, you're a very lucky person.
Yeah.
Right? The 3 a.m. friends.
Yeah.
The friends that walk in when everyone's walking out, the friends that when your whole world goes to shit, they come and sit with you, not necessarily say anything, but sit with you in silence and be like, I'm here, brother, I ain't going anywhere. Now, thankfully, I've got, I can count them on 2 hands, right? I'm very lucky. But that's for me, it's just like, I just want some peace, man. I don't want to be bothered. And I'm comfortable now in the fact that I'm all right being misunderstood, even by my own family, right? You know, there are times when there's an expectation. You know, mum, right? She's super sociable, right? Even after her health setback, she still hasn't slowed down, brother. I was talking to you about this outside.
Yeah.
It was like, it's just like, when we were in hospital with her in India, just Dan and Will, for your benefit, right? So February, mum and dad fly to India every 6 months, right? They're both retired medical doctors. Dad retired in 2018, mum retired 2015, but then she opened her own maternity scanning business, and she's been running that for the last 10 years very successfully. But every 6 months, they take 3 weeks off and they go to India.
Yeah.
We've got family in India. They go on a series of pilgrimages, etc. And when they go, me and my brother are just nervous, right? Because they're traveling, and it's just, and this was like 2 weeks before the Orange Man kicked things off in the world, right? It was, right? That was about 3. So they land on the 5th of February, and they start their pilgrimage on the 8th. And I remember it clear as day. Take Shiv to a rugby tournament in Preston, come back home. The following day is a Monday, on the 9th, I get a phone call from mum's mobile phone. And it's a group call, right? So she's called Sav, she's called Babi, she's called Ubbi. And I looked at the phone and I was like, oh,
You know what's coming.
yeah, I thought it was, hey guys, just wanted to check in, wanted to see everyone. We're on the road, having a great time. Ignored it. Ubbi was on a call downstairs. And then I get a voice note from my auntie. Mum's been admitted in hospital, acute respiratory failure, call back.
Shit.
So it's 2 days before my birthday, right? So the ticker starts going, call back. So they talk me through what's happened. And when it's over the phone, you can't quite get a sense of the whole lead up. I only got to know about it when I flew out. But the first couple of days was, they got her to hospital. They were able to stabilize her saturation. And it was pneumonia. It was atypical pneumonia, so asymptomatic. So I was in touch regularly with mum and dad, and I had to like start the health insurance claim from here, because dad didn't know what he was doing. He was completely in the daze. Anyway, it was on my birthday. This happened on the 9th. My birthday was the 11th, right? And one of my cousins, which is where mum was admitted, my cousin, they were on the way to my cousin's, and he rang up and said, look, uncle's a mess. You need to come, right? Because he's not coherent. He's completely lost. And he won't call you himself, right? He wants to see, he won't call you. I'm telling you, get on a plane and come now. So we get there, and obviously she was very emotional. But what had happened was, they were about 2.5 hours from the place that they were going. And they stopped at her services, and she went to use the toilet. And she said to my auntie, wait outside. And my auntie just heard a thud, and she'd collapsed.
Wow.
Right? So they had to carry her, put her in the car, and it was a 2-hour journey to the hospital. So they brought her back to consciousness. Her saturation level, which is essentially the oxygen available in her lungs, was at 20%.
Wow.
So you imagine that car journey. I didn't know any of this until I got it there, until I arrived at the hospital there. And then you realise how harrowing that is. And no word of a lie, the impact that that's had on me since coming back. So it all turned out well, gents, right? I was there for a week with my brother. We managed to get her settled. She recovered. She was discharged the day after we flew back. So we went out for a week, flew back, and they had to keep her in India for 6 weeks to recover. So she discharged. They moved to Chennai, which is a bigger city, better medical care. But I got back, and within a week, panic attacks. Right? I hadn't processed any of what had happened. I was just powering through and telling myself, you're on the plane and you're flying out there, and you're like, what if this is the last time I see her? Right? what's Dad going to do? How are we going to? All of these things
All
start
these
to come
things
to
go
your
through your
mind.
hand, yeah.
Yeah.
But that for me has been, it's something that I can't quite comprehend. And I can only assume it was the compounded impact of all of that trauma that I had in the 2 weeks. And I'm one of those that I like to understand why I'm feeling a particular way. And I get pissed off with myself if I can't get to a conclusion as to why I'm feeling in a particular way. But yeah.
So, I saw you on a night out in March. One of our friends was
Reg is leaving.
One of our friends, Reg, was going to South America, and I saw you that night, and you approached me, and you were like this, and he talked to you.
Yeah.
And this is this is basically the conversation now.
Yeah. There was a bit of alcohol involved, but yeah, for me anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I didn't speak to you then.
Yeah.
I remember you talking about this conversation on the podcast.
Yes.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So
I preceded myself.
Yeah, you did. But so because I know that something was up.
Yeah.
But I knew also at the same time, if we have this conversation now, it's not going to end well in terms of emotions and how you're going to feel, and especially the next morning as well. You probably will be like, what did I actually say? But also, I've checked in with you a couple of times since then, because I know I don't want to force the conversation at you, because with things like this, it's got to be when you're ready.
Yeah.
I can't be like, right, Harry, let's sit down, let's talk about this now, because you still probably haven't processed everything, right?
No.
You probably still haven't now.
No,
All right?
I haven't.
So I want to know, you're obviously your relationship with mum, okay, in this, has it gotten closer? Because with almost losing someone, that kind of does change relationships sometimes. How has that been for you?
I'm still very close to my mum.
Yeah.
I love my mum, but I don't think I've ever been more frustrated by my mum than I have in recent times. Right. And I mean that with all of the love and respect in the world.
Yeah.
She's such a unique individual, but she's just got no slow down button. She's got no pause button.
Yeah. That is most mums, though.
Yeah, she's just on she's on an Elon battery. I don't know what's going on. It's just, I hadn't seen anything like it. And because she plays such a pivotal role in the community, right? She has done for such a long period of time. But we have a very open relationship, right? We're very similar. We're very fiery. So mum's, not very many people step to mum or will challenge her apart from me. Dad's at that age now. Dad's got selective deafness.
Yeah.
Dad's 77. He's just like, the IPL's on, son. Just leave me. And my brother, I don't know if you've met Sav. I don't think
I haven't. No.
You've not met Sav, but Sav is we're chalk and cheese. And to our opposite, he is just a very, very nice bloke. That's not to say I'm a knob, but
I was just going to say, where are you putting yourself in this?
No, he's just a very kind, very non-confrontational type of individual. So he's a keep the peace guy. I'm me and mum, if I don't like something, I'll tell her. And more often than not, I get into trouble with Abby because my delivery is not always measured or diplomatic.
Blunt as a breeze block.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. So, but look, I love my mum and she's brilliant. I just wish she'd listen a little bit more and be less stubborn, really, and just calm down, relax, slow down. You don't need to have 60 people around
all the time.
Lunch. That's a small gathering.
That is,
That's a small gathering. Yeah, I just don't go as well. The way in which I do it now is just I don't want to go.
Take the burden off by not
come
going.
home for lunch. I've just called so and so. I ain't coming. Sorry. Why not? Because I don't want to. It's becoming like that. And that grates on her a little bit.
Yeah.
I know it does, but she also knows that I'm just like her, so I'm gonna change.
Yeah. Button heads. I
think that's interesting because right back at the start when you started talking about how you're feeling now and how you're dealing with it, and you said it yourself, we have to get on with stuff. And it's the clear generational hand on, isn't it? Your parents obviously like that. You just get on with stuff. They're out in a different country, or just get on with it. Don't worry about it. And that's how you're feeling. And I think that just shows that that's where it comes from. We talk about it all the time, don't we, about the previous generation, they just roll their sleeves up and get on with it. And that was sort of instilled in us. And you can see that. That's prime example there is that's exactly where it's come from. And she keeps going because that's all she knows. And that's...
Yeah. And it's a generational thing as well, right? Like, we never had how are you feeling chats.
No.
Yeah, never. Like, we used to have... Like, we were very good as a family... You know, before the girls married into the family and all of that. Obviously, Dad was working all the time, and you know, we were left. We weren't wanting for anything growing up, right? We had an incredibly fortunate childhood. We had the best education. We had access to everything. We really did. We used to have one meal a week together. You know, when Dad wasn't on call or doing locums and stuff like that. So. There wasn't the device culture back then, right? So you were forced to have conversations. That's the biggest struggle at the moment with the kids. It's just like you can't have a conversation with them because they're just head down. But, Dad used to ask us how our day was. And, he was very structured with it. He was very keen. Both Mum and Dad, they wanted to know, what challenged us. What did we like about the day? What did we not? What did we learn? But there wasn't very much, how are you feeling?
Yeah.
What are you making of the world around you? And I won't blame them. That was just that generation. I guess what it's made me realize is that I'm more cognizant of that with my children. And I'm keen to be the best support that I can be, but not intrude on their journey of learning about life.
Yeah, because they need to learn that themselves.
Yeah, they do, right? And they need to learn about winning and losing and being hurt and being betrayed and all of those things. That those are all lessons that they have to go through on their own. But yeah, it's interesting. Like Abhi and I talk about it. Because Abhi grew up in India. She went to boarding school. Her parents emigrated to the Seychelles. I think when she was about a year old. So she went with her parents for the first 3 or 4 years, and then from the age of 5 or 6, she's been in boarding school, right? And similarities, right, in terms of how her parents approached that and how we take a cognizant view because of our experiences. We have to do things differently because the environment that we exist in today didn't exist back then. So, you can't just... You have to adapt. And it's the hardest job in the world, and it scares the shit out of me every day. It really is. It's just like, I think that's a big driver for, when I positioned this conversation with you, I was like the invisible load, right? What is the stress, and what are the responsibilities that a man carries? And at my age, in my circumstances, as a father, as a husband, as a son. I've got all of these responsibilities, and it's that constant push to say, whatever I'm doing for the betterment of my family, the family that came from me, right, for sure, to make sure that they've got the best start in life, the best foundation that I can possibly give them, because we can only take them so far, and right, at some point they're going to have to fly on their own, and when they do, we just got to trust in the fact that we've given them everything that we can, and they're good people, with good values.
I think it's interesting. I mean, we spoke about time travel some time ago on the podcast about going back in time and talking about talking to your previous self, not in a geeky scientific way.
I thought you were
just
going
in a
back to the
hypothetical.
Press that button over there.
What always strikes me is if you could go back, you could have those armed with what we talk about now and how we deal with things, how different would it be if you could go back and start that conversation 30, 40 years ago? And just see if the responses are the same then, as in, are they going through the same fears? Are they worrying about the same thing? Have they still got the same stresses? Just have that little glimpse into it. Because like you say, we grew up with it, and parents sort of hid it from us, and we didn't really know what was going through or what they were dealing with because we didn't talk about it, did we? But it'd just be nice to know that if you could go back, just to have that bit of reassurance that they were shitting themselves just as much as we are now back then.
Yeah. Here's a question for you, though. Do you reckon, even if you were able to do that,
We're going all geeky now.
No, but I'm
Lottery numbers.
with what we know and what we want to convey. Do you think we'll have the language to be able to do it?
No.
No. And that's,
I don't think so.
I don't.
No.
I think so.
If we were to go back and do that,
Yeah.
unless there were, and I mean a lot of us doing it,
Yeah.
yeah.
you'd just be looked at like
Yeah.
you're an absolute fruitcake.
Yeah.
You weirdo, what are you talking to me for?
Straight
Yeah, exactly. It'd
Yeah.
just be like, I'm like, nothing's wrong. You can see nothing's wrong. What you're on about? What
Yeah.
are you trying to get me? What's wrong with you? Do you need
Yeah.
help? And then just go away. Leave
Yeah.
me alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. They'd be calling the men in the white coats for you rather than anybody else. You'd be like, oh, yeah.
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 People would rather avoid the topic
Yeah.
than to simply speak about, which when we say it now, it seems really bizarre.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's what was, I mean, I am a bit younger,
You are bringing
But
the
I've-
average age down in it.
but I was still brought up with that sort of mindset initially because, you know, I had a lot of involvement from my granny growing up because
Right.
it was basically just my mum and then my granny would help support her
Mm-hmm.
when my mum was working. So it was very much still that older generation going, come on, like, what are you crying for? Go on, brush it off, stand up, smile on your face, off you go.
Yeah.
It's, if we were to go back and say, actually, why don't we sit down and talk about how I'm actually feeling? They'd look at you like, are you all right? Like, something's not right with you. Go speak to a doctor instead. And the doctor would go, oh, I don't want to talk to you about that.
It's far too difficult to deal with. Move on.
Here's a tablet.
Yeah.
And get out of my office.
Yeah, and as I think about it, and you know, like, I exercise like 3 times a week with a PT, but I walk every day. Right, I get 12,000 steps in. I do about 5 or 6 miles a day. And my work day kind of allows for that, right? You know, the mornings are generally for me. And a lot of the time when I'm walking, I'm listening to a podcast. You know, sometimes yours, gents.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Better than none.
But a lot of it's around reflecting, just time for me and my own thoughts. And these feelings that we all talk about, and, you know, I don't think there's a shame to having these feelings or these insecurities. I think it's just avoidance of it, right? So I mentioned that after coming back from India, these panic attacks just hit me out of nowhere. And I didn't actually tell anyone about it. And the lead up to me telling someone about it was, I'm on a group with P&D, right? And as you know, we're doing the 3 Peaks Challenge this year. We're starting off with Snowdon.
Which we'll
get to that.
Yeah.
But I had agreed with the lads that I'd look into accommodation. And this was before I went to India. And then I came back from India and I was just all over the place. And I realised it was slipping. And, you know, Snowdon was
Getting
around
closer
the
and
corner.
closer at the time,
You know
yeah.
what it's like, you know. So I just put a message on the group and I was like, lads, such and such has happened. I'm not going to be able to sort the accommodation out because of this. And then the lads were like, are you stupid? Like, what's going on? Don't worry about that. We'll sort that out. Are you okay? And I didn't do it to... For me, it was kind of like, I can't do this right now because I'm just struggling a little bit with this. And it wasn't I wasn't like, I really want to talk about it. Let's, you know, I need help at all. But, you know, what you find with, especially with your nearest and dearest, is you don't need to ask for help. Your help is there and it will be given.
Yeah.
However painful it is for you to hear it as well, right? And that's the thing about your closest friends. They'll tell you stuff that hurts too,
Yeah.
right? And
It's not just what you want to hear,
No,
it's
it's,
what you need to
it's
hear.
tough love as well.
Yeah.
It's what you need to hear, definitely.
Yeah, it's tough love too. And I found that really helpful. And, you know, those episodes lasted for a little bit, but they seem to have gone away now, touch wood. So that's... it's just, for me, that was a very, very clear... It felt like really, really significant when I came to that realization to say, look, there's no shame in having these feelings. You've just been avoiding them, and maybe you start opening up and chatting about them a little bit. And, you know, I told Abby about it, and she was like, well, let's go and get some help. And, you know, let's see what we can do. But yeah. And it'll be interesting to see, because everyone has those thoughts, you know, especially men. We all have those thoughts of insecurities that are directly linked to our responsibilities.
Yep.
Right? To the fear of what might happen. And as easy as it is to say, when you can overthink the bad, why can't you overthink the good, right? That's a lot easier said than done, though, guys, right? Do you know what I mean? And I'd just be interested to hear from you guys. How do you process those kind of thoughts?
It's a hard one. Actually, we'll start with Bill first on that one.
Yeah, throw Will in. Give me time to think about it.
So what I find interesting is you mentioned, obviously, while you were away in India, you were sort of powering through. So on the face of it, people who don't talk about feelings or they don't know you in that way would think, oh, he's handling this really, really well. And like I said, you've come back and all you said, out of nowhere, these panic attacks have started. A lot of people don't talk about that bit. And obviously it's not come from nowhere. Obviously you're aware of where it's come from, and it's really, it's the repression of all of those emotions, even if it's for a short time, to power through and make other people feel better. And I think as men, we forget that we do that a lot of the time, whether that's in work, home, or other settings.
Yeah.
A lot of the time we will just go, okay, they seem like they're having a worse time than me. I'm just going to put mine to one side. And the more and more we do it, we don't realise that, that those feelings are piling up like a massive stack of papers. And
Compounds, doesn't it? Yeah, it does.
All it takes is either a minute of silence to ourselves where your brain then goes, right, finally, here's what's happened this week. Or just one extra thing gets put on and that pile topples over. Not many people talk about that point. They always say, oh, it's come from nowhere, or I don't know what's caused it. And realistically, we do. But we don't want to admit, I feel we don't want to admit.
Yeah, it's acknowledging that. Yeah. I've missed insightful, Will.
Whether
Me
it's come
too.
from because I always, with men especially, I always find we don't like admitting when something's upset us.
Yeah.
And I think, again, that comes from how we're raised and how we're brought up is, why have you let that offend you? You're a man up.
Yeah.
That horrible phrase.
Yeah.
Horrible phrase, man up. Ugh.
It's the societal impact as well. And we spoke about it earlier. You're cast into this. You're the man. You're alpha male. You need
it's
to
a
be
stereotype.
Yeah.
And you just have to you find yourself thinking, I've got to live up to that, and you fucking don't.
Yeah.
You're a human at the end of it. You're still going to feel the same emotions as anybody else and go through the same shit.
Yeah. So you'll know this as much as I do, Dan. But like, especially at work, someone goes, did that really offend you? Did you really get offended by what this person has said? And usually, no, I didn't. I was just joking. And then you go home and you're thinking about it more. Whereas now we're just like, well, yeah, it did.
Yeah.
What's the problem?
Yeah.
And I think we just need to get more comfortable with saying that. And as well, sort of going back a little bit again, you can see that older generation is still having that impact, even whether it's on people my age, people your age, people older, younger. In a work setting especially, I see it when management are trying to have those conversations because now they're told they have to say, how are you feeling? They look visibly uncomfortable asking how you are because of how they've been brought up. They don't want to have that awkward conversation, and they feel that it feels too painful. And I think because we're getting better, but you can still see that struggle of, it's not necessarily that they may not want to hear what you have to say, it's what if they say something and I don't know how to answer? And
I think
solution.
That's the biggest thing. It's the worry if you say something, what the fuck am I supposed to say and do about it?
Yeah.
And again, that comes down to not just that person, but the organisation themselves probably not putting the right things in place, or them having exposure to that to deal with something when somebody brings it to them. Absolutely. I've seen it, and you can see them sort of thinking, oh, please don't say that. Yeah. I know what you're going to say, please don't say it. I don't know what I'm going to do. But yeah, you're right. There is more of that conversation happening and needs to happen.
And I find, I've lost count of how many times I've said it now. When I'll have that conversation, I can see that get a bit fidgety, and I'm thinking, I don't want a solution. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
I just want you to know.
Yeah, I'm just
so
uploading.
Then if I come in one day and I'm being really quiet and to myself, nothing's actually wrong. That's just my way of saying, just give me a bit of space.
Yeah.
And then I'll come to you. I don't necessarily want you to always come to me and say, oh, how are you feeling today? How's so and so? What's been going on? I'm not always in the mood to raise that. So then when they get uncomfortable, I'm not after a solution. I just wanted to get it out. I just want you to listen. That's all I want.
Yeah.
And then you can just sort of see them go, oh, okay, that's fine.
It's a really interesting point, Will. I mean, for me, the key to that is authenticity, right? And a lot of people, everyone's different. Some people, and especially in the professional work environment, right? and because of the prominence of mental health across the board in recent years, HR departments have to make sure that that's covered, and the delivery and the authenticity of the person asking you. Sometimes it can feel like a tick box exercise, which pushes people further into their shell, and it really separates the active listeners from people that are listening just to respond, as opposed to listening to understand.
Yeah.
Right. And a good active listener is exactly that, just there to listen, not necessarily give you judgment, not necessarily to give you a solution, because, like you said, not every outpouring of emotion or conveying of feelings is for a solution. Sometimes the solution is just getting it out. Right. Yeah. So you just walk around a little bit lighter. And like I said, everyone processes those things differently.
They do.
And I'd say for me, as I reflect, I'm not necessarily consistent in the way a bad day hits me and the way I process that bad day. I'd like to think as I've grown older, my skin is thicker and, less stuff offends me, but I'm still a sensitive soul, and sometimes I struggle to let go of a bad day. I struggle to, you heard those sayings, right? Stress is just like a bag of rocks that you're carrying around. Yeah, I mean, I get it, but it's easier said than done to put that bloody bag of rocks down, right? Because your mind is telling you if you put that bag of rocks down, then the other stuff that you're carrying gets dropped as well.
Yeah.
Right.
There's repercussions, right?
Yeah. Exactly, right? So it's, fascinating.
Another way to add to that saying, I suppose you could say, is, let's say you are carrying that, that massive bag of rocks. You could be carrying that for a long time. Same with any form of exercise, heavy lifting, that sort of thing. Even if you put it down, you still feel the weight there.
Of course you do.
Your hands could be callous, your shoulders sore. The pain's still there. The stress is still there. But the thing causing it might be gone, but the stress is still there.
Yeah,
and a
it's
lot of
residual.
people forget that.
Yeah. And like you say, I think
just go away.
Yeah. It's easy to say, well, just put the bag down. Yeah, but if you don't deal with it properly when you do put it down, it's still there to pick back up at some point.
100.
Exactly.
Like you say, you're still carrying that weight around, whether you physically know about it or not. It's still lurking in the background. It will come back and bite you in the ass.
100%. To go back to your question about how we deal with stuff, you've seen my journey over the last couple of years.
I have. You're a hero.
And one of the things the two things actually, is acceptance and action. If there is an issue, you got to accept that something's wrong, and those things are normally one of the first things that you think, oh fucking hell, is it really? Is it just me being?
That's a pride thing, though, isn't it?
It is. It's a huge pride thing, and when I was going through recovering, I was like, I just got to fucking deal with this shit because no one's going to make me feel better. I was stuck in this flipping hospital with no flipping signal. Who do I turn to? And like the nurses are in and out, and there's other people within the ward that are going through their own shit. Do I want to put pressure on them? So I really had to kind of rewire my brain in how I'm dealing with what I'm going through right now. And I was like, okay, right. There's an end goal of me walking out of here alive. Gratitude plays a huge part of this as well.
100%.
We forget that so much, and I think that's one of the beauties of our own minds. We can actually train our minds to feel better if we allow it to. And again, gratitude, when you start thinking to yourself, I'm so happy right now, I'm good, I feel healthy, things start falling into place.
Vibration.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm proud of that. And because if I didn't, I keep saying this, I said this before in one of the other podcasts as well, that I'm glad that happened because it's trained me up to be smarter in my decisions. I don't just drop weights like the bag of rocks. I don't just drop with it. I try and deal with it. That lessens the weight. It's not an immediate impact of, I feel great now. I can manage it better now. I now know decisions I make are a lot more solidified for my future, for the next day. It's just a smart way of me thinking. I'm a lot calmer than I've ever been. Shit can hit me. I've had shit thrown at me this year that you would not believe. Well, you know about it. All of you know about it.
Yeah.
There are so many ways I could have dealt with that, but I dealt with it. I dealt with my emotions. I allowed them to be free and just feel what I wanted to feel without actually people thinking, oh my God, why is he angry? there wasn't really much anger that was going through me. It's just more of, I feel like shit.
Yeah.
But I'm going to have my time to feel like shit.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give myself a hard time because I feel like shit.
Yeah.
I'm just going to feel like shit.
Was that the emotion?
That was, yeah.
Yeah.
There was a lot of angst. There was a lot of, oh my
So
God.
what was the emotion? So feeling like shit is feeling down, but what was the emotion that you were feeling?
There's a lot of anxiousness.
Yeah,
There's a lot of
anxiety,
anger.
okay. Right.
The anger itself was mainly, could I have prevented something from happening?
Right.
The anxiousness was not knowing what was going to happen. You know, and there was just so much going on. But I allowed that to happen. I actually remember I messaged you. I shut my bedroom door and I stayed there for hours because I needed to let that set.
Yeah, I remember coming to see you with Perds.
Oh, that was in the hospital.
Yeah, and that we had got. So we generally tend to get together like every Christmas in Coventry, you know, living the dream.
So your peace and reconciliation.
Yeah.
Badass, right?
And we'd had one of those Christmas weekend get-togethers, and
he looked like he needed the hospital bed.
yeah. And then we came to
Heavy
see
weekend.
you, and I was like, you know, you were in great spirits, but physically you just looked different, right?
Yeah.
You looked so just weakened by the whole thing. But you know, you still put on positivity, and I say put on. I'm not saying that you were faking it, but you looked like you'd been through the mill.
Yeah.
And that was a real shock to the system. I remember talking to Perds about it on the way out. But yeah, to see where you are now, it's great. And you know, I guess it's testament to, you know, there's a lot of anecdotes that are getting dropped, you know, because Instagram seems to be full of those things.
Live, love, laugh.
Well, yeah. No, but when you're going through hell, keep going.
Yeah, you do.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like, things are going to get hard. You're going to have bad days, right? And it's not a straight line. And I read a really, really beautiful quote that I'd like to share. It's, the universe doesn't meet you at the height of your struggle. It meets you at the depth of your surrender.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And, you know, people interpret that in different ways. But for me, it's all around being thankful and grateful for what you do have, focusing on those things on a regular basis, and telling yourself how fortunate you are in comparison to others, because there's always someone worse off than you. Always. And anchoring yourself in faith, whatever that faith might be. It doesn't necessarily need to be religious faith, right? But it may be faith in yourself, it may be faith in the people around you, or faith in your own ability to just, no matter what life throws at you, just keep getting up and go again. And we go again, right?
That's what I've got a lot of faith in. Yeah, 100%.
Just get back up. Yeah.
It's been quite nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you were in hospital, was this the point where he was pretending he was in a medical drama that they were filming?
I don't know if you know about this. So I thought, I don't think he does actually.
No. I think, I'm intrigued though. Tell me.
Yeah,
So
this is good. I like it. You like it.
I was so I would say drugged up. I started trying to run out the hospital and I got pulled back in, and I don't remember much of it, but I remember doing these actions. I remember saying these certain things. I remember telling people that I was in a cast of Outer Banks in Netflix, and I'm black. So that confused a lot of people, first and foremost. And I was convinced that this was my role. And
What, just for shits and giggles, or you genuinely?
no, I genuinely thought.
Oh wow, okay.
I was a black guy, and my name was Pope. And
And your name's what?
Pope. The guy in the actual thing's called Pope
gotcha,
in
okay.
Outback. So I was going around telling all these people. I don't remember much, didn't remember much of it at the time. It was the next morning, and one of the nurses said, "Did you find your treasure?" I'm like, "Huh?" And she's like, "You were running around telling people you're a black guy. You were actually telling people you're a black guy, and your name's Pope, and you're looking for treasure, and you're part of the cast of Outer Banks." So yeah, that's
Mate, he
thanks for
messaged
bringing
me
that.
this. I was pissing myself.
Yeah.
I was like, you what?
Yeah, I don't know when that was done, but when we went to see him, he had his iPad. He was moaning about the fact that the signal was shit.
Yeah,
He was watching Bollywood movies every day on his iPad.
that's true. Yeah.
And he'd made friends with a dude on his ward that looked with a spitting image of pork pie from the Desmonds. Do you remember the Desmonds?
Yeah.
Back in the day?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he had a new best mate. I can't remember his name,
Pope,
but we
I could say
just
that.
called him pork pie. He was that was so you'd just been through the mill, but you were happy and you were positive.
Do you know that's the other thing as well? I was so controlled in my head. I knew that was getting out there.
Yeah.
I knew I was getting out of there, so I was just happy. There's no point in being miserable because that would have killed me.
It's that letting things go, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're talking
It
about.
is, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I felt great. Well, I didn't feel that great when I came out, but I knew that there was like at the end of the tunnel, and that's where I just wanted to be.
Yeah.
And look at me now.
And what are the things that you're living now that you wouldn't be had you not had the setback that you had?
What would I be? Oh, I think I'd probably be depressed. Personally, I do think I probably would have been in a much darker place because I wouldn't have handled the stuff that I was actually going through. Because I was in a dark place. I was divorced. Even though I shouldn't be, I was very lonely, and I kind of felt every day was just a rigmarole of going to work and coming home. My lifestyle was bad food, loads of booze, all the things that don't really equate to a good lifestyle, all the things that were there. So I think if that continued, I probably would be in a very dark place right now.
Yeah.
But things happen for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. And that, to me, was probably the best thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah.
Hardest thing, but the best.
And sometimes it's some of that stuff that's out of your control that you just have to let happen.
Let happen.
To give you that reality check.
Yeah. It's those things, right? I mean, you can make all the plans in the world, right? Yeah, you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans, right?
Watch it unravel really quickly before.
An interesting story about the India episode, right? Mum's health setback. So, for your benefit, Dan and Will, like, Dad's getting to that age now, right, where like he's not best friends with tech, right? So, I'll give you an example. When he text messages or on WhatsApp, everything's in caps lock.
He's shouting at
so
you every time.
like everything is like he's just yelling at you, and he's like, "So how do I switch it off?" So we show him how to switch it off, and then the next time he switched it back on again. He doesn't know how he switched it on either, right? So we've stopped switching it off now. So he's just shouting all the time. Anyway, about 3 weeks before they went to India, we were around Mum and Dad's on a Saturday, as we usually do, and we make an effort every Saturday to take the kids to see their grandparents, because that's all they want, really. They just want to see the grandkids. They don't want to see me and Sav. Definitely not me. Maybe Sav, but definitely not me.
I love that you admit it.
I can't deny it, mate. That's the thing. So my dad comes up to me and he said, "Son, are you free on the 6th of Feb or the 5th of Feb?" And I said, "Let me just check the diary, Dad. Why?" And he's like, "Well, that's when we're leaving to India. Can you take us to the airport? Right, come pick us up in Rochdale, then take us to Manchester Airport." I was like, "I'll finish eating, Dad, and let me have a look at the diary." And he said, "It's a Friday." So I get around to looking at the diary. I was like, "No, it's not, Dad. It's a Thursday." And then Mum runs in from the kitchen. He's like, "Have you messed it up? Have you messed the booking up?" Right. So he skittles off to the computer and he logs on, gets his itinerary, and he's like, "All right, no panic over. It's the 5th is a Thursday. We fly out on the 5th. I was like, I have a look at the itinerary, and I was like, "So you fly out on the 5th. When are you coming back, Dad?" 26th of February. He's booked it from the 5th of Feb to the 26th of March.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Right? So straight away, like, Mum's straight into him, right? She's into it, right?
You had one job.
It's so funny as well. It's just anyway. We speak to Emirates. Sav gets on the phone straight away. Look, and we're appealing. Look, he's a 77-year-old man. It's an oversight. Anyway, sorry, it's out of policy. 700 quid to change the itinerary, the ticket from the 26th of March to the 26th of February. Okay, so they fly out with the right itinerary, having spent loads of money to change the itinerary. They get there. This happens.
They're out there even longer.
They landed back on the 26th of March.
They just stayed there.
What?
All right. So I was like, well, look at that.
Actually worked out well.
They were always going to come back on the 26th of March. He's up there thinking, yeah, you do what you need to do, right? She will come back on the 26th of March. I've got a few things to teach her. I've got a few things to teach you all. And that for me was, wow.
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is
Very
absolutely
true.
crazy.
Very true.
Flipping it.
Very true. So yeah, that was a big eye opener, right? Like, so you go through life and you think, I've got to do this. I'm striving towards this. This has to be done by this stage. We need to make sure everything's accounted for. But how things are going to work out is already preordained, right? You just need to keep the faith.
Written for us, mate.
Yeah. And that's what that for me. That's my balance. That's where I find peace. But it takes a little bit of time, right? Because when you're in the thick of it, like I said right at the top of the conversation, it's the hardest thing in the world to be logical and to get perspective when your emotions are high. And sometimes you just need to take a breath and be like, well, okay, how bad is this really?
Yeah.
And then more often than not, 95% of the things we worry about never happen anyway, do they?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so-
We talk ourselves into a problem on most occasions. And
Everything's a what if.
Yeah.
We do. And we're not infallible and, we're all human, but, what I'm trying to do with the kids now is just like, how do you teach them to deal with things when things go wrong, right?
Yeah.
Because the most successful ones are the ones that are able to think clearly when things do go wrong,
Yeah.
right? You put it in the context of sport, right? The great sports people are the ones that can keep their calm when it's all going to pot,
clutch moment,
right? In the clutch, when
Yeah.
there's, who's going to hit the winning, the winning points or whatever it might be. And that's what you try and teach. And, you don't necessarily always have the answers, but it's the essence of the message that you're trying to pass on, and they'll figure it out. They'll find their own way. So, yeah.
He's a good dad. You're a good dad.
Yeah,
I've seen
man.
you.
Bless you,
Yeah.
thank you. I don't always feel like it, mate.
That's part of the fun, though. I think
But-
that is part of the game.
Yeah. I mean,
It's that testing yourself and questioning yourself afterwards. I really said that. Yeah. Okay.
If you didn't question yourself, that'd make us question you.
Yeah.
Something's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
absolutely.
No, fair play. And I'm really glad that you actually opened up about this. This is an insight to me as well.
I've not really opened up to anyone about it, really. Like, there's been conversations that I've had with the lads of who you know.
Yeah.
And like I said, they're both very good, active listeners, right?
Yeah.
And they only give me perspective. Why do you look at it like this? Have you thought about it like this? Mum's been through all of this, but maybe this is her way of recovering now, in terms of being around people, being, the fulcrum of the community there. Maybe that's her therapy. Maybe that's good for her.
Yeah.
So it has given me perspective. It has called me out sometimes on maybe I'm being a little bit too hard on myself or the people around me. Maybe I can be a little bit more flexible with my thinking. But like I said, I just want a peaceful life, gents. I don't, for me.
Yeah. Don't we all, man?
Yeah.
Don't we all? Well, that hour has gone really quick.
It's flow. I just clocked that.
Are we done?
I just
clocked
noticed
the clock.
Yeah, you clocked the clock. So this is. Have we got time for love spuds? Do you think?
Yeah, we're getting love spuds in this week because we missed them
missed that
week.
last week. Do you know about love spuds?
Love spuds.
Love spuds and love plums.
Sounds very sexual.
Only if you make it.
Wow.
Yeah.
There is a difference.
Spuds and plums.
Yeah.
It's only 5
There's a
cents.
subtle difference.
Okay.
They sort of been the same, but there is a difference.
Right.
So if something's grabbed your love spuds, what's upset you, what's annoyed you, what's made you angry, like something that's
What's
gone
gripped
wrong,
your shit this week?
what's really pissed you off, or what's caressed your love plums, what's been good, what's gone well.
That's
So
a
if you
plum.
haven't got something that's kicked you in the bollocks, what's caressed him instead?
A little tickle.
Well, both are actually covered by the same episode. So Shiv's my lad. He's in year 8, and he's on exams week this week. And his parents' evening was not great purely because they were like, "Look, he's just ballooning around a little bit. He's got so much potential. He's such a smart kid. I expect to see some improvements up to the summer exams." So the parents' evening was March. Obby's been riding him pretty hard, and and we've been linking his sport and his ability to play sport to making sure that he's got his work done first, right? Studies first. Sport's a privilege, studies first. Anyway, he kind of had a little bit of a wobble. Went to give his sister a DDT on Sunday, and it was just chaos. And I yelled at him, and he proper stood his ground. We had a proper Barney. Didn't chat, didn't talk to each other. He didn't say anything to me in the car in the morning on the way to school. So that really irritated me. And I felt really bad about it because I was like, have I gone too hard here? Or, why is he just being like this, right? You know, because the reason I was yelling at him was like because he could have really hurt her, right? And you know, he plays rugby, so he's always like, but he's getting to the stage now. He's almost bigger than me, right? I keep saying to him, look, she's just 10 years old. She's a girl. Don't be so rough with her, right? Anyway, that spilled over. It was really, really irritated me, and it was playing on my mind all the way through Monday. So I dropped him at the bus stop and couldn't really concentrate. And what's the happy one? Is it plums or spuds?
Your plums.
The plums. I like that.
See, spuds is rough. Plums is pleasant.
And the plums are the moment when I went to pick him up in the evening, when he got into the car, he said, "I'm really sorry, Dad. I love you." And that for me was like, I'm sorry too, son.
He's had his time to reflect on it.
We had a cuddle, and that for me was like, yeah. And then he was like, "Can I get some Nike Air Max?" And I was like, "No."
He tried it.
It was good, but not right.
I can't fault him.
God loves a trier.
Yeah.
Fair play. Will, what about you? Do you have something?
Mate, he's got about 6 months worth of
I know.
plums.
If he
or
says he
spuds.
hasn't got anything, I'm going to like.
I mean, most of them are work related, so unfortunately, no. But I do have one.
Go on.
One. Have you ever thought that stones in your garden is a good idea?
Yes.
No.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. They really pissed me off. So I got a burst of inspiration when the weather was nice. And I was like, I'm finally going to do it. I'm going to really tackle the back garden because I found now that my real dream in life is to retire in a cute little house with a lovely garden and spend all my time in that garden like an old lady.
I can see
And
it.
I want to spend more time in my garden because it's there. I want to use it. I want to enjoy it. But if I was going to do that, I'd have to go to war with it. And I mean, the honeysuckle went out of control, took over about half the garden.
He's got no Monty Don on us, hasn't he?
Honestly, it was. I mean, I'll show you a picture afterwards. It was quite bad. I came out with whirlwinds, nettle stings, literally head to toe, because as soon as 2 stung me, I was like, you know what, fuck this, and I just went in. I just ripped them all out. And what really bothered me the most wasn't the nettle stings, it wasn't the brambles, it wasn't any of that. It was the pissing stones. Every time I pulled up a weed, oh, there goes a bit more lining. There's another bit more lining. And there's another bit more lining. And then it's like, why are the stones so filthy? You can't clean them unless you get some industrial level cleaner on it.
Yeah.
But then it's half my garden going to die.
Yeah.
And then I've also got to think, well, if I put that down, that's a good few hours then. The dog can't go outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can't pressure wash them because the minute you do that, they fly,
They fly everywhere. Yeah.
And then you've got basically a bit of shrapnel flying everywhere. And Mrs. Miggins across on the other fence, she's going to end up with a head injury.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why did we get stones?
No, I'm with you.
It looked nice when they were put in, but after about a year or two...
They're annoying.
I'm with you.
Mate.
You spend your time sweeping them back into the borders, or we've got like decorative bark in the back garden. The dogs do fucking zoomies around it, so that flies everywhere. So you're sweeping that all the time. I'm with you.
Yeah, but the thing is, this isn't a small patch of stones. This is most of the garden. You can take this up with the mother. It was her idea. I warned her. She wanted stones. So she got stones.
Give her a
not like
bucket and the
stones.
sponge and tell her to clean the stones.
Yeah, I thought, here's a toothbrush. Off you pop. So I've got a little patch of grass there and it's mostly stones. And I'm thinking, I told you from the get-go, what you should have done was smaller stones and resin.
See, he's the youngest in the room, but he's the one talking about gardening.
Do you know
am an
what?
old lady
There's a
at
bit of an
heart.
old OAP thing going on here.
I am an old lady at heart, honestly.
Old soul.
I can see him with a little umbrella out in the garden.
So Joe's mum and his gran, I've been doing all the pots for them, making sure they're all pretty and nice, doing them some hanging baskets, and they all look very lovely, and I'm very proud of them. So every time I go around and sit there, I just look.
I
at
made
them.
that.
That's mine there.
You know, if I could give you a name, I'd call you Hyacinth.
It's
Definitely would.
okay.
It's Mrs. Bucket. Richard.
Richard, that was it.
What about you two? Any plums or spuds?
Do you want to go?
I've got one, but it's a real downer.
That's
So
all
I'm
right.
kind
I'll
of
pick
like,
it back up.
A real downer.
Yeah. We've had some bad news in work this week. We lost another colleague to suicide this
I was
week.
going to have a chat with you about that because I wasn't sure.
So yeah, I had a shit phone call Friday morning to discuss that. So yeah, and again, it comes back down to the talking about stuff. And getting
sorry,
on with
man.
Stuff. So yeah,
To hear that.
it's a shit week, shit start of the week. We're getting better, but yeah.
That is awful.
So don't dwell on that one. We'll move on.
Okay.
Go.
Right, plum. I got a plum.
Ooh.
I got a plum. And it's you. It's actually got to see you, Harry.
bless
That's
you.
cheating.
It's not actually because I gotta tell you
Many
why.
a time.
That's for a different show.
last time you were here, I missed you.
Yeah.
And then when I saw you previous to that, you were smashed out your face.
Well,
Yes.
Who says he's
yeah, I'd walked around Malvern Hills though, mate. Right, and we
You
did the
did.
big
You
Malvern
did.
Circular. I didn't eat.
I
And
heard
then
about
we
this.
got onto the Wingmans as soon as we got back to Purdy's, and then we came straight out. So I didn't eat. That was what killed me off.
Yeah. No. You've got defense like
Eating's
because
cheating.
Yeah.
P actually told me. So anyway, but no, seeing you today is actually amazing because I've been wanting to see you and actually
Bless
have
you,
a bit
man.
of time
Thank
with
you.
you. I know it's not that long, but still, it's just nice, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
Bit of bro love. It's been a minute, and being able to see you and seeing you smile
Bless you.
and looking
Thank you.
chirpier than you did last time.
Feels like it needs a little sort of like love music playing on the background.
Yeah.
That's a different kind of music. But no, seriously, that's my plum. It's just seeing Harry after a long period of time, and we're gonna get to spend some time together in a couple of weeks, aren't we? Even more.
Yeah.
Snowdon.
Yeah.
We're doing Snowdon together.
We'll see on the weekend, and then we'll see.
Yeah,
what-
we've seen on Saturday, and then again the following weekend.
Snowdon.
So
And how's prep going for Snowdon? How you feeling?
I'm feeling
Gonna
alright.
get up that hill?
Yeah, I'll make it.
It's going on the tram.
I'll say I'd get the train up, yeah.
Yeah. So what I
I'm not gonna be that guy.
what I've heard about the tram is it's chaos, and you need to book
It's a
and
free
all of
for
that.
all at
Yeah,
the start and at the end.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
Carnage.
reckon we're doing the Lamberis path.
Okay.
I mean, it's still a shift, but I think like Malvern's the hardest I've done.
That one,
Malvern's the hardest I've done.
That-
Have you done Malvern? Dan?
No. No, I've driven through it.
Yeah.
Lovely drive, isn't it?
Those beacons in Malvern are
Yeah.
proper, no joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not.
Yeah, that's probably the hardest one I've done.
Yeah, because apparently it's quite steady going up Snowdon.
Yeah.
But we'll find out, and
Yeah.
then we
I
can
think it is
report
the
back in a couple of
easiest
weeks.
of the
Yeah.
three peaks.
Yeah.
Ben Nevis, I think, is one of the
Yeah.
hardest one.
Yeah.
Just because it's in the Highlands, it's unpredictable. The thing is massive. When I was in Scotland last year, and you're seeing bits of it, you're thinking, oh, is that it? Then the clouds moved a little bit. Oh.
Yeah, I've been.
It's insane.
I didn't do
isn't
it, but I've been.
Yeah. And then you look at it,
Yeah.
and you go, am I really going to climb that?
No, I've got the book. Really got the book because I started walking during COVID, right? And for me, it was just a really good release, and it split up the day really nicely. And it was really stressful time, COVID, right? People didn't know what to do with themselves. I'll be really struggled with it. So getting out and walking and listening to Audible and audiobooks and stuff like that was really really helpful. And then it was New Year's resolution this year, so it was actually your brother's birthday.
It was where I couldn't come.
Yeah, so I came down for Bav's birthday, and me and Purds were on the train from Rugby into Birmingham to meet him. And Lisa was dropping us off at the station. And I said, like, this is one of my New Year's resolutions. I'm going to do the 3 peaks this year. And I just put it out there. I was like, I was going to do it on my J's, really. And then people was like, I'll do it with you. And then, it was great.
snowballed, hasn't it?
The more the merrier. And before he went to India, early April, we did Edale Ridges in the peaks. Yeah. And I was like, since doing it and since really locking in and training and prepping and all of that, I want to do Kilimanjaro in the next 5 years as well. So we've got that locked in. So get yourself ready.
Sound.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Sweet.
We'll do it.
Nice.
You two should come as well.
We'll
do a pod on the
We're
top of
looking at doing
Kilimanjaro.
a sunrise up Snowdon next year, and that's in the planning diary.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I think we've got to
We're getting
sign
the
off.
stare from
Yeah,
the corner,
we are.
Can you finish, please?
Right, so Harry, you've listened to podcasts. I'm going to put your impression out of you. Where are the sign off?
No.
Oh,
No.
it could have worked so nicely as well.
It would have been
Never
perfect.
mind. Anyway, so we monitor on what words we say and a certain word in
If you
particular.
go this way around, I'm sure he can work it out.
Oh, but the last one is the more difficult one.
That's true.
Are you
So-
testing me now at the end
Yes.
of the hour?
So
Yeah.
basically, a sign off is see.
You.
Next.
Thursday?
See, you knew what we're doing all the time.
I did mouth it a little bit.